Travel teaches you a lot of things that also have nothing to do with travel, or they have a lot of crossover. So there's definitely things I've learned that are very important to travel and have helped me with travel, but there's also a lot of things I've learned from travel that I've used in my day-to-day life, whether that be just everyday things that I got to do or things like oh, sorry, I get distracted by my kitty. She's not supposed to be up here. That being said, or things that I do in my 9 to 5 role. So let's just run through some things that travel has taught me, and this is no particular order. I'm just gonna rattle stuff off as it comes to mind. So, let's think. Organizing. Organizing has been a huge thing that travel has taught me. There's obviously a lot of moving parts and pieces when you travel. You have to coordinate everything from your flights to your ground transportation to your accommodations, different tours, if you're meeting up with people, if you're traveling with other people. So tons of moving parts and pieces, a lot of coordination. And I have a background in project management. That's what I do or used to do until I got laid off for my 9 to 5. So so the management side of things in travel, and that translates to everything. That translates to your life on a day-to-day basis. That also translates to your life that you have in work. I've used plenty of examples over the years in job interviews, specifically from travel scenarios, and the planning and the organization is definitely part of that. Another thing that I have learned from travel is patience under pressure. That sounds kind of silly, but there are moments in travel where things do not go smoothly, and I will tell you right now, you're going to get a lot farther in those moments if you are patient than if you fly off the handle and you turn into that next viral YouTube, TikTok, you know, Instagram, whatever, pick a social platform. If you turn into that next headline, it's not going to get you anywhere. So patience under pressure is a huge thing when you're traveling. Things don't go right. And if you're able to stay calm, cool, collected, and keep a level head, you're going to get a lot farther. And that's something that translates to your everyday life, that translates to your work life. There are plenty of times in my work life where I have been in a situation where everything was falling apart and people were freaking out. And I was like, yep, no problem. We got this. Like, it's totally fine. The sky is actually not falling. And the amount of shock that people have looked at me with and they're written all over their face, it's just, it makes me smile. It makes me laugh. And I've used scenarios over the years in interviews when people ask me, how do you handle something or, a situation when something goes wrong? And it's like, well, let me tell you about the time that my flight got canceled and I was stranded in Las Vegas trying to get home. Let me tell you about the time that I was on a beach in Nice and my trains were canceled and the only way out was a flight. Like, let me tell you about times where something went wrong and there was a language barrier and it was before the time of translators on cell phones. So many scenarios. They're all they're all instances I got through and definitely freaked out after the fact. I'm human, but I was able to compartmentalize and move on with that. So patience under pressure is a huge thing that travel has taught me. It's a skill that is absolutely invaluable, and I use it on a day-to-day basis. I use it in my work, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Another thing I think travel has taught me is living with less. It's given me a perspective that I wouldn't have had I just stayed home. I think it's easy, especially I think I would say this is more of a problem in the United States or maybe a situation in the United States, not necessarily a problem that you don't see a lot of times overseas. We're a big country. We have a lot of space. A lot of people here have larger homes. They have garages and we can just have stuff. We can have things. I'm guilty of that as well. But I think travel has really taught me about what is really important and what you really do need, and that you can live with less and the happiness that comes with living with less. Um, I don't know how much more to explain that one, but it's definitely something you learn living out of a suitcase, that is all you have and you make do. And it certainly puts things in perspective and teaches you value, teaches you the difference between a want and a need, and that's something that you carry throughout your life. I think it's a lesson you can get from other places as well, but travel has certainly shown me, hey, you have a 19-inch suitcase and a backpack, and do you really want it or do you need it? Like, do you have the space for this? Is it going to be useful? So that's definitely another thing that travel has taught me. I think other things that travel has taught me, gosh, certainly I guess perspectives, being able to have more understanding around other people and our differences. That's as a traveler, when you walk into or fly into, or whatever transportation you're taking, you enter into someone else's country. You're entering not only into someone else's country but their culture. It's a completely different way of life. It's probably a different language. The values are very likely different than your own. It's perhaps not something you've ever been exposed to, and that's something that translates as well to your everyday life at home, but also at work. You're going to be in a situation on a daily basis, especially if you're in a 9 to 5, where you're with people from all different cultures and backgrounds. And for me, I was working as a business consultant. I was consulting with a very large company that has workers all over the globe, and was with a team that had members from all over the globe. So, um, you know, being able to have that face-to-face perspective with some of the countries and the cultures that those people were from, I felt I had a better understanding and patience, and maybe some more tools in um, my toolkit on how to better work with the other individuals on the team, and maybe get a little bit farther or get to a resolution quicker. And that's a perspective that I would not have gained as easily had I not traveled so extensively prior to being in the role with that client. And it really is just an invaluable lesson of being exposed to so many different people. I do believe at the end of the day we're a whole lot similar than we're led to believe. I think, you talk about the basic needs, and, the things that people need, and you need food and shelter, and, of course, and safety. And of course, we want, all that for the people that we love, whether that's our friends, our family, our chosen, families. So, those things are very basic, and they're across all cultures. However, there's still different perspectives on those things. There's different values on those things. There's different ways of handling things, and being able to have dealt with that firsthand, boots on the ground. It's been incredibly helpful to deal with that in a work environment as well. And I have had instances with that in work where people were just so absolutely surprised, um, maybe by how I handled something, or something that I had said in response to a situation that was I could certainly tell it was a little bit more trying for them. And I had great feedback on that before. It was makes me smile. It was very heartwarming for me to know that I had said something that had an impact on others based on my travels. So I think that perspective that you gain, seeing the world through someone else's eyes, is just so invaluable. It really helps with the patience and stepping back. And and that really circles back to talking about patience under pressure and patience with people, and it all ties in. Travel to me is one of those things that it is it's so rewarding. It's not just the pictures and seeing. It's not all that stuff. It's not like the Instagram glamorous social media stuff. It really is just incredibly rewarding, and so valuable in so many other ways. I I'm a little bit distracted. Both my kitties are over here outside of the camera pouncing on each other. I had a great message, I think, right there. And They definitely stole that moment and were even on camera to prove that. It's very, very inconsiderate of them. But I mean, all that to say, I think travel, it's it's very it's very rewarding that way. It's rewarding maybe in an intangible way, and I think for people that do travel, they don't apply it enough to the work situation, to interviews. I've shocked people when I say, yeah, use examples from travel in your interviews. You will blow the person's mind that's interviewing you. And to quote my alma mater, I went to California Polytechnic State University, San Luis Obispo, and our motto is learn by doing. And I really don't think there's any better way to do that than to travel. You learn so much along the way, and it's absolutely invaluable. And I've probably said that 100 times now. So I will stop there. I'll stop jabbering. I think you got the point, and I'm going to go tell my little helper here, who has not come and joined us, to please stop rubbing on my backpack that is sitting out, because she knows that I'm getting ready to go on another adventure. So in that bombshell, I'll wrap it up there. As always, I'm super excited that you're here. Come in, hang out, try my little corner of the internet. I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.